Again, it's like Greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of the Rotary Club of Merrimack's TV show. We have a very special show for you in store today regarding an event that happens in Merrimack once a year, but it's a big one, and that event is the annual Christmas tree sales taking place right in the center of town at the old Shaw's parking lot. So in the next half hour, you'll get to hear everything there is to know about who runs that sale, where the proceeds go, what's for sale, how the Rotary Club of Merrimack got into the business of selling trees year after year, and all other details related to a very important sale that affects numerous households in Merrimack, and that is providing the annual Christmas tree. I'm Maureen Mooney, your host, and I have with me today two Rotarians, also longtime residents of Merrimack and past presidents of the Rotary Club of Merrimack. So with us today are Joe Mitchell.
Hello, everyone.
And Bill Wilkes.
Hello.
So let's start with Bill, who has for several years now organized and managed the sale. So Bill, if you could just give our viewers an overview of the Christmas tree sale here in Merrimack.
Sure. The Christmas tree sale was started in the mid-'80s by a former Rotarian. He had been doing research with other service organizations, and he determined that many other service organizations were selling Christmas trees and that it was a quite successful venture. The Merrimack Club has never lost money selling trees, and up until recently it was the club's largest fundraiser. The fundraiser has enabled us to do a lot of things in the community. Some of the things that many people out there might know about are the pavilion down at Watson Park, the food pantries, the three local food pantries in town, Coats for Kids, and camperships through the local camps in the area, and also Kids Cove.
Amazing how much the Rotary Club of Merrimack does here on the local level. And Joe, I know you're a past president. You've also been in the club for so many years. Could you tell us a little bit about the club, how often it meets, and when it was started?
The club was started, Maureen, around 1971.
Oh.
And we meet every week on Thursday morning at the John O'Leary Adult Community Center, which is right here behind the Congregational Church. We start at 7:15 and we finish at 8:30, and we try to make the meetings entertaining for people who attend. We have about 24 members at present, and also informative. We have a guest speaker that comes in every week and informs us about things that are important in our state, in our town, and our community in general.
Yes, that's one of my favorite parts of the meeting every week, is that you get to have a guest speaker come in, mostly from the community, and talk to the members about what it is that they do, and it's a great networking opportunity as well. So if someone, one of our viewers perhaps, who lives or works in Merrimack were to be interested in visiting a meeting or even joining as a member, what steps would he or she take?
I think the best thing to do these days is to go to the website, which you can find it most easily by going to Google and just typing in Rotary Club Merrimack, New Hampshire, and our website will come up. And on that site there's a list of people who are present officers, and you can click on any one of the officers' names and it brings you up to an email address, and you can send any one of us an email and contact us that way, and we'll get back to you and try to get you to come to one of our meetings for a free breakfast initially.
Yes, that would be perfect. Rotary International, thus the name, has not only the local component that's been in Merrimack since 1971, but also an international component. And I'm just wondering if you could address that and what that means.
Yeah, Rotary started as a I think in Evanston, Illinois, as a single club, and then spread to the Chicago area, and then spread out through the United States in the early part of the last century. It is now there are 34,000 clubs worldwide, and we're in over 200 countries, ranging from the A's. You can go to Albania and go to a Rotary Club meeting, or you can go to Zimbabwe and go to a Rotary Club meeting. There are about 1.2 million members worldwide, and it represents, again, people around the globe.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think it all stemmed from the States, as you mentioned, in Illinois, and has branched out even right here in Merrimack. And Merrimack is so fortunate to have a group of dedicated Rotarians who year after year raise money, in this case through the Christmas tree sales, for scholarships, for Coats for Kids, food pantries, and all sorts of other events that all benefit the local level.
On the international level, Maureen, one of the activities we're most proud of is polio.
Yeah.
We've sent a lot of money to different countries to help eradicate polio, and I think at this point, Joe, how many countries are left?
Well, we thought we were down to 2, but apparently some has started again in the Ukraine, so now there are 3 countries with active polio cases, and it's been pretty dynamic over the last 20 years or so. We get a lot of help with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but Rotary International has been a big pusher of this for a long time. But I think the key to Rotary, though, is we're all in this primarily to help out our communities.
Absolutely.
Most of the money that we spent, I think last year we spent a little over $30,000, and all but $8,000 of that was spent here locally. So we're in this, I think most of us have a very strong commitment to serving our town and our state and our county.
Exactly. So a couple of things. If you're interested in more information on the Merrimack Rotary, the website's merrimackrotary.com. And also, if you're interested in helping out the Rotary and all of its charity that it provides for the community, you'll consider buying a Christmas tree from the club. So let's get to that, the subject of our show. So Bill, tell us, where does the Christmas tree sale take place?
We hold the Christmas tree sale, and we've held it there for as ever long that I can remember, down at the old Shaw's Plaza on DW Highway. And that represents over 30 years at that same location.
That's amazing. And
For the people who haven't been in town long enough to know where the oldest of the Shaw's Plazas is, it's right next to the King Cone. It's 2 lots going north on the same side as King Cone on the left-hand side, and I think everyone knows where King Cone is.
yes, that is definitely an icon here in Merrimack, a landmark. So tell me, Bill, when does the sale start?
The sale will start this year on December 3rd. That's a Thursday.
Coming right up.
Yes. And we'll be busy between now and then setting up the site. We set up the site with a trailer and the stands in order to hold the trees during the sale, and then we have some signage out on the road. And we do that on Friday after Thanksgiving. And then on Saturday after Thanksgiving, we actually get delivery of the trees.
Wow.
So we have a pretty good crew down there to help us unload the trees. Thankfully, we've always gotten a lot of support, so it takes us usually no more than an hour to unload all the trees.
Wow. Now let's talk about your role in ordering the trees. When do you order them in order for them to be ready to come right after Thanksgiving, and where do these trees come from?
Believe it or not, we actually get an order solicitation in July, so it's in the middle of the summer, and I'm not thinking much about Christmas trees. But we do get solicited in July, and normally what happens is I go to the Rotary board and we discuss how many trees we think we should buy for the given year, and I actually make a commitment to the vendor normally around late August, and then we get delivery of them, like I said, the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Right. This is amazing because I know year after year, and like you say, we have repeat customers that come in, purchase their trees from Rotary, but they never get to hear the behind the scenes of all of this and how the setup takes place right after Thanksgiving, and the hardworking Rotarians that unload and the orders right after 4th of July. It's really interesting, that's for sure.
And we're really thankful for all of our repeat customers.
Yes.
I mean, we see a lot of the same faces every year, and I think that is kind of a testimony to what we're doing with the money. I mean, people know that we do good things with the money, and they're happy to buy from us. And quite frankly, we're not more expensive than places like Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah.
Our prices are very competitive. We haven't changed our prices for many years now, and we will be holding our prices again this year. For our 6 to 7 foot trees, they cost $45. And for our larger ones that are 8 to 9 feet, they cost $65.
Yes, very reasonable. And it's not uncommon for a customer to come and leave a very generous tip simply because they appreciate the work that the Rotary Club of Merrimack does, and they want to welcome that or acknowledge that through a tip like that. Have you ever had a situation like that selling the tree?
Many times, and I think people, because we've been able to hold the price of the trees for several years now, people expect the trees to be going up in cost and not, being stable at a constant rate every year. So they're very generous to give us tips. I would say almost half of the customers give us some sort of a tip.
Right. Now let's get right to the trees themselves. You mentioned that there are 2 heights for trees, thus the price difference, $65 and $45. But there are 2 different types of trees that the Merrimack Rotary Club sells year to year. So maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
Sure. We buy 2 types of trees. We buy premium sheared balsams, and we also buy premium Fraser firs. A lot of people out there know the difference between the 2 trees, but essentially what we hear from our customers are that the balsams have a nice Christmas smell to them, and a lot of people like that smell in their house. Conversely, the Frasers have very strong branches, so if you have heavy ornaments, people tend to go with the Fraser because it'll hold an ornament better than the balsams. But it is really personal preference, Maureen. So we do get pretty much a 50-50 balance of the 2 different trees, and people can make their own selection.
Great. Rotary does so many charitable things, and one thing that it does is it provides Christmas trees to families in town that perhaps can't afford their own Christmas tree. So, Joe, would you like to tell us a little bit about that charity that takes place almost behind the scenes in some way by Rotarians?
Yeah, every year the club sends a representative to the person in town that handles the distribution of things for folks who are needy. Mm-hmm. And we get a list of those people. They're offered trees, and for those who are in need of a tree that can't afford a tree, we have people that dedicate a tree and pay for a tree for them. And that's, some years, if the economy's good, there'll be only 8 or 9. But if the economy's bad, there might be 15 or 16. But we give away trees for free to people. And we get a list in advance from the town.
Right.
So we know who's going to come by and pick them up. And it's people that are going through a momentary, difficult period. A lady that I knew very well came by one year, and I don't think she expected to see me there, and she said that her name was on the list, and she hoped I wouldn't tell anybody.
Sure.
So I haven't, but it's nice to be able to give something to somebody who can't afford the $45.
Absolutely. A real great service that the Merrimack Rotary Club does, and not one that's widely known. So it's good that we hear about this on the show, just how generous the Rotary Club is, certainly.
Yep.
So on the rack, the Frasers and the balsams, some customers, they come in and boy, they have no problem picking a tree. They see the first one.
A lot of times it depends on the weather, Maureen. Sometimes if it's 0 degrees and snowing, it only takes a few minutes for selection. But other times, if it's a nice sunny day, people might spend 15 or 20 minutes canvassing all the trees to find the perfect tree.
Is there a secret looking at a tree as to whether or not it is that balsam or that Fraser?
Believe it or not, some of us old veterans, we actually take the trees all bundled up. When we get delivery of the trees off the truck, they're all bundled up with a netting. And these trees have been so good over the years that I will take a tree off the pile, I'll spin it around, look at it with the netting on it, and I'll stick it in my car because it's easier to transport it that way. So some people like trees that are a little fatter than others. Some like them thin, depending on the room that they're putting them in.
Yeah.
But it really is personal preference, and where these are all premium trees, most of them are really nice trees.
Yes, absolutely. And how would a customer pay for a tree?
We are looking into credit card processing, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that this year. So it's primarily cash or check.
Real good.
The other thing that I've offered every year is that if somebody takes a tree and it's they get it home and they don't like it somehow, it's either got a bad spot on it someplace or whatever, I've always told them to just come back and we'll exchange it.
Nice.
And I've never had anybody do that, but if somebody came back and said, I took this tree home and it's got a spot on the back that we don't particularly like, because they are agricultural products, and The ones that are still in the wrapper, you can't see them completely.
Right.
But we would be happy to exchange it.
Nice. One service that I know the Rotary Club provides for tree shoppers is that snip off the bottom with a chainsaw. And what is the significance of that?
That's very important, Maureen.
Okay.
Because these are natural trees, and when they're cut in the fields, they have sap, obviously, and the sap comes down and it seals up the trunk.
Yep.
So if you put your tree in the stand without doing a fresh cut on the stump, the tree will not take water and it won't last as long in your home.
Ah.
But if we always ask the customer, are you going to put the tree up today? And 90% of the customers say, oh yes, we're going to put it up today, and we're happy to put a fresh cut on the tree.
Yeah.
Even if they're not going to put it up that day, we tell them, hey, we'll do a fresh cut because we do have the equipment on site, a nice chainsaw to do it, and it's a lot easier than going home with some kind of saw you might have in your closet.
Right.
And so we'll do the fresh cut, and we'll tell them, hey, if you have a bucket, put the tree in a bucket in your garage full of water, and that will work perfect.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Another service that the Merrimack Rotary Club provides when you come to buy a tree is we'll tie it on your car for you. And that sometimes takes a little bit of skill. Luckily, Joe, you have some Navy experience, so you know how to tie those knots to make sure it's tightly secured.
We bosun mates can do knots. But the other thing, getting back to Bill's thing for a second, you'll notice when you put the tree into water for the first time, it takes a lot of water that first 6 to 24 hours.
Okay.
That's true.
And
Yep.
that's why it's very important to get it right in water, as Bill said, and not to delay if you're going to cut the bottom. If you're going to cut it yourself at home, it makes no difference because you can just cut it then and put it right in water immediately.
Right.
But the water is extremely critical to having the tree last all the way through the Christmas season.
Oh, that's important, definitely.
On the subject of getting the trees home, I like to tell people to be sure to bring a sheet of some kind. Some people put them into the back of a trunk, or they put into a back seat, or the back of a station wagon or something, or a van. If that's done, there's going to be some needles that are going to be coming off, and you don't want to be having to clean your car. So if you bring some sort of an old blanket or a sheet, that can be very, very helpful when you get it home. The other thing is we tie most of them. Well, if they got a pickup truck, we love those people because you don't have to do anything except put it in the back of a pickup truck.
That's a huge favorite.
But if we're going to tie it on the roof, which most people have them tied on the roof. I've never had a problem with anything scratching my car, but if you're afraid of it, be sure to bring a sheet so you can put it on the top of your car, and we'll put the tree on top of that and then tie it so that it can be removed easily at your home by just snipping, usually just 2 lines.
Real good.
We've had a few funny stories, Maureen, and,
yes.
and we actually have a little bit of training in the club prior to the actual sale, because in years past, some untrained people have actually tied people in the cars. If you have a 4-door car that has the metal frame around each door,
Right.
Sometimes people have said, hey, put the windows down and we'll tie your tree on, and they've tied through the windows, but they've tied the doors shut. So we have to do a little bit of training.
Yes.
We also have what's called the umbrella effect.
Oh.
And that's, you need the stump in the front of the car, not in the back of the car.
Yes.
Because obviously if you're going 30, 40 miles down the road, you're going to have an umbrella effect.
That's right.
So we do a little bit of training in that area, and we've gotten a lot better at it. So
bit of a learning curve, but it
Yes.
becomes easy. And I think that all these proceeds from all these tree sales go directly to the local community and charities here in town. That's fantastic.
Yes, we give a lot of money. One of the big things that we give money to is scholarships for kids, high school kids in
Yes,
Merrimack
right.
that are, graduating seniors. Last year, I'm proud to say that we gave 4 scholarships at $2,000 apiece.
Wow.
I think that that may have been the largest scholarship of any of the organizations.
Sure.
Certainly combined.
Sure thing. That's
So,
fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great thing that we do.
So the Merrimack Rotary Club, it's the Rotarians that schedule and staff the entire sale. And it's open, what is the times and the days that it's open?
On the weekdays, we're open 4 to 8.
Okay.
And on Saturday, we're open 8 to 8 at night. And then on Sunday, we're open from 10 to 8.
And whenever you see those lights on at that old Shaw's parking lot, you know there's a Rotarian there just waiting to sell you a tree. You know,
we're all pretty dependable. Most times we will stand by those hours, but if for some reason the lights weren't on, then you would know we were closed.
gotcha. Everybody who's sold trees for 4 hours or 1 hour or all day on a Saturday has a favorite story about selling trees. Bill, do you have one?
Well, Maureen, I'm going to let you cover that one because I think you had the greatest experience of all.
I did have a great experience, and it was during my shift selling trees. And this young family came up and they bought a tree, and then they said to me, would it be all right if we staged our annual Christmas card picture right here at this tree stand? I said, absolutely. So they pulled out a little cozy coupe car for their small son. They strapped on a small tree to the roof, almost resembled this one here, and they took a photo of their son driving away in his cozy coupe toddler car with a miniature tree strapped to the top, and there's the tree stand behind him along with the Rotary International logo, and it was an incredible scene. I thought it was the cutest thing, and I said to them, could you please email me a photo? And this came after many takes too. They didn't just take one and leave. It came after many takes. And she said, absolutely. So she emailed this to me, and I've kept it ever since because it's a great memory of selling trees, because you really do have a great experience selling people their Christmas tree, and also hearing their stories about just how much Rotary means to them in the community, certainly. Some years it's icy, it's snowy. Who maintains the stand and brushes it all off and clears the paths so shoppers can still shop?
Primarily Rotarians do.
Oh, yeah.
But if we have a lot of snow, we do have a couple of people that are plow operators.
Yeah.
That, on a donation basis will come by and push some of the big piles away for us. The actual at the Shaw's Plaza, the people that do the Shaw's Plaza, they've been excellent over the years in helping us move snow. So we're very appreciative of that.
Real nice. We do have partners with regards to all of this, and those are members of the Interact Club who also do some shifts. Those are high schoolers at the Rotary Club, essentially the junior version that takes place at the high school. But we also have sponsors. And do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Well, the sponsors that we have are sponsors that sponsor our turkey trot,
right,
which is right around the same time. We have the turkey trot on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We started doing that, I think, about 5 years ago, and then we missed 1 year, but I think since then we've had a turkey trot each year, and it's well received in the community, and we go out and we actually get sponsors for that. And they're on our website. It's quite a nice list. We get more sponsors every year, and as a part of being a sponsor, we have a nice banner that we display during the Christmas tree sale, so that they get a little more advertising out of their sponsorship.
Right, so when you go to the sale to pick up your tree, you see the big banner, and those are sponsors for not only the Christmas tree sale, but the turkey trot, which took place on Thanksgiving. Also,
which I think has registration from 7 to 8.
Yeah.
And the race starts at 8 o'clock. So
that's right.
And I think they can also register online as well.
Yes.
Before the day of the race, which is Thanksgiving morning.
Exactly.
We should put in a plug for the turkey trot because it's coming up, and it's going to be a new course this year.
Yes.
Which people I think are really excited about. It's going to be at the middle school.
Yes.
And it's got a little more challenge to it,
yep,
from what I understand. And so we look forward to everybody coming out and taking advantage of the turkey trot. They can burn up a few calories before they go out and eat a big turkey dinner.
That's right. That's another great event Rotary puts on. Rotary seems to hit all the major holidays: 4th of July, Family Fun Day, Turkey Trot on Thanksgiving, and Christmas tree sales at Merrimack.
The turkey trot it's a race, but it's more of a family event for a lot of people.
Yes.
There's a few serious runners there, but a lot of the people who come are parents with children, and they just go along at their own pace, and it's really a lot of fun it's early in the day, but it's an awful lot of fun. People really enjoy it.
Exactly. Much like the tree sale. So many families come. They make it an annual tradition almost, picking out their tree and everything.
That's
it's very
right.
enjoyable when you're there. Also, as an extra additive bonus, the sponsors for both the Turkey Trot and the Christmas Tree Sale will show themselves after this program. So you'll see a streaming video of all of the sponsors. So that's another thing that we can do to expose their generosity and also thank them very much for partnering with us.
I know you've been involved in the Turkey Trot, Maureen. How do people register for the Turkey Trot? How does that work?
Well, that's online. Merrimack 5K is the website. So you can go on there and register and pay through that website. Very successful. We hope to have a lot of good runners like we did last year.
Great.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. It's hard to believe that our show is over here, but we really got quite a bit of information in for all of our viewers related to, again, a very special annual event that takes place in Merrimack, and that is the Christmas Tree Sale, brought to Merrimack by the Rotary Club of Merrimack. And for more information on that, go to merrimackrotary.com. The website is at the bottom of the screen. We appreciate your support very much for not only the Christmas Tree Sale, the Turkey Trot, the 4th of July, all the times you've come out into the community to help the Rotary do its good work right here on the local level. So again, thank you very much. Sales start December 3rd. We'll see you in the Old Shaw's parking lot when the lights are on to sell you your annual tree this year. Thank you again, gentlemen, and thank you, viewers. Happy holidays.